All right, lads, welcome back to another Stojilad cigar review. Today we are rolling with a Cuban cigar from a brand that I have not reviewed here yet, as far as I'm aware at least. It's the Vegueros brand, and this is the Vegueros Tapados. Now, Vegueros is a kind of interesting and unique brand out of Cuba because it's the only value brand that Cuba produces that's specifically lower priced, that isn't like meant to be short filler. So this is long filler, normal cigars, but they are all priced below sort of the other cigars in the same size. It's a pretty new brand. It's only been around for 25 years or so. Vegueros actually means farmers in Spanish. It's sort of meant to be dedicated to the farmers, the people that grow the tobacco. And this Tapados is a sort of a short Corona Gorda. It's interesting because a lot of the Vegueros cigars are in sort of unique vitolas. So this is called a Mareva Gruesa. It's a 46 ring gauge, so the same as a Corona Gorda, but it's 120 millimeters or 4 3/4 inch, I believe. So it's about an inch or 25 millimeters shorter than a Corona Gorda. It's a pretty nice format, to be honest. It's like a little bit shorter, a little bit thicker Petite Corona. I really don't mind the size. There's a light up here, perfect draw. Tapados in Spanish also means the cheesecloth. It's the sort of cheesecloths that are used to grow shade tobacco. I don't really know how they make these a value brand. They have a sort of different style of band. They don't look very traditionally Cuban. It's a very different type of line from Cuba. Very unusual for Cuba, to be honest. This particular cigar is from 2015, so it's a 2015 box. I don't usually review very aged cigars because most people smoke their Cubans decently fresh, I believe. But I got these from our good friend Daniel at tabaquero.se. Vegueros is a very sort of under the radar brand because it's so new and in its own sort of category. So you can actually find these. This was just on his store. And I've been to several cigar shops where they actually have pretty aged Vegueros cigars because people just don't buy these as much as the more well-known brands. It's got really good flavor. Usually these are a little more rough around the edges. They have this kind of rustic look and taste, but this has been aged for sure. Really nice salty Cuban twang, a little bit of earth. That's really, really good. It's got perfect construction so far. I'm gonna get back to you guys in the first third when I got more thoughts on this cigar, but so far, very nice. All right, so about 10 minutes in, burning quite fast. I don't mind that though. It's burning very sharply. Whenever something seems to be lagging behind, it corrects itself perfectly. The draw is spot on. So I'd rather have a slightly quicker burning cigar if it's a Cuban that burns right. So no complaints in that department. In terms of flavor, it's quite nice. It's quite nice indeed. It's got a nice earthiness with quite a bit of pronounced spice, which I am a little bit surprised with because it is 7 years old. Usually Cuban cigars aren't too spicy to begin with, although I should note this Vegueros brand, like I mentioned first, it is kind of harsh and rustic in its flavor, so it does have a little bit of a punch, more than you could expect from a Cuban cigar. But it hasn't been mellowed out from these years of age. It is very sort of spicy, and even though the retrohale is easy and it's not harsh in that way, there's a lot of spice now even lingering on the palate. It's a straight medium-bodied cigar, I'd say. Other than the earth and the spice, it's got a nice nuttiness, and especially on the finish, sort of a dark fruit sort of sweetness. It's got really nice notes. They're all blending together nicely. You can tell it's been aged a bit because the flavors are so well rounded, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was like 2 years or something because it's just so spicy and flavorful. I'd say for my first impression, Vegueros seems like a brand that's very good to age because it doesn't lose any of the intensity. It just sort of balances out, I think. So this is definitely a positive. I'm gonna keep puffing on this and get back to you guys in the second third and see if there's any shifts then. All right, so exactly 20 minutes in now. Say about halfway. I was expecting with my own personal smoking time about a 40, 45, maybe 50-minute smoke here. It's looking to be somewhere around that. Not bad for this size. Flavor-wise, it's decently the same. The earthy sort of note is there generally, and the sweetness has taken a little bit of a step up. It's really nice, dense, creamy smoke, still at a medium body. I'd say the nuttiness is gone. The spice is almost gone actually, and what's entered is a sort of floral and vanilla note, sort of more top notes that I wasn't expecting in these Vegueros. What they to me are reminiscent of earth, spice, a little bit maybe of leather, just sort of rough Cuban flavor, which I don't mind, but I think the age has just maybe refined this and polished it quite a bit, which I'm surprised, because this is the first very aged Vegueros I've ever had, and I'm very, very positively surprised. I'd really so far recommend people to go out and pick some of these up. They're very accessible. They come in 4-packs or tins of 16. So they're very, you don't have to commit to a huge box. And most of the time, I just looked online now, and most shops here in Sweden at least have boxes with 4 years of age on them already even. So they're very accessible to pick up. You can already have some with many years of age, and if you have the patience to age them even longer, a worthwhile stick to pick up to fill your humidor with some good Cubans with some age on it. So far the flavor is very nice. We'll see how it finishes off, and I'll give my final score and all that, and catch you guys soon. All right, so I'm coming up towards the end here, pretty much exactly 45 minutes in. So it's a solid smoking time for this size, I'd say. Happy with that. Construction along the way, it's not razor sharp, but then again, not really been close to having to touch it up or anything. Can't complain. Flavor-wise, it's simplified a lot in the last third, to be sure. It's sort of more just earthy with lots of that salty Cuban twang. It's still nice flavor, but nothing mind-blowing, and a lot of those other more interesting notes that were there in the first 2/3 sort of disappeared. Still not complaining. This is at least from the beginning, a very simple cigar. It's just been aged a long time, and I'm glad it opened up with the aging. A lot of cigars just sort of lose all their flavor, so I'm very happy with this. I'm going to score this an 89, right under the score of excellent. That final third just took it down a notch, but I'm very happy. I mean, these are very cheap. These are like $7 US here in Sweden, which for a Cuban cigar is a solid price. So yeah, very happy with this, and I still hold strong to my recommendation. Pick some of these up, whether it's a tin of 4, or pack of 4, tin of 16. They're not that expensive. Those are not very big packages, and it's just nice to set some aside and age them or try them young, whatever you want. This is I'd say a pretty underrated brand, so not bad at all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. I'm gonna finish the rest of what's left of this cigar and catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.